Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing good. I'm doing pretty good, not bad. I was a little sad this morning or earlier. I played some music that kind of helped snap me out of it. I'm going to be talking about a little bit about the Trinity and my understanding of it and dualism and genders coming up here. So I'll give you a short synopsis of my understanding of the Trinity for your understanding on what's going to come next. Whether you believe what I'm telling you or understand what I'm telling you makes no difference in the outcome of everything except for your personal connection to your creator, my creator. So there's a dad. God is referred to as him. There is a mother. She is called the sacred feminine. These are totally male or female. There's a baby. Let's just call him Yah the Beah for this instance. And say if there's a bad personification of the dad and a bad personification of the mother, but it isn't them. This is projected and portrayed by their demonic child. And if you pick up on, say, like the Satanistic vibe and go with that, that male energy will devour you because it isn't yours. And if you go with the females, she absorbs it, but it's God that gives that to her. So it's like if you like the incubus and the succubus, if you're lured or lustful towards either one of those entities, um, I keep telling you these energies people use aren't free, you know? Now let's talk about dualism a little bit. This is no longer the Trinity, you know? This is male and female energies on this planet. And those energies, those entities that can communicate with you if you're in tune. If you aren't in tune of their separateness, then you're listening to the third one. That's a fact. And these things they'll be proven out through people's spirits and how they um, communicate even to other people, what they're saying, their understanding level of the whole thing when they're talking to other people, excuse me, will be apparent by what they're teaching other people with these different organizations and what they see as secret teachings, you know. Um, God doesn't keep secrets, neither does the sacred feminine. So if you have any other teachings that include their darkness, that's mankind drawing upon that trickster spirit, and there's consequences for that. I'm meant to understand a man by perceiving who he is with my imagination, perceiving him, not becoming him. And the same with a man. He can perceive me, my personality as a female, not trying to become me. They're two separate. It's a dual nature system, not fleshly. This is your understanding of what, um, if you're a man, your understanding of a female isn't in your flesh. It's a spiritual thing that sacred feminine can communicate to you. The same with me feeling God in my spirit, because that's the personification of the man Godhead talking to people now. Um, God, of course, can talk to male or female. The sacred feminine can do the same. How they're received is another thing. They could be receiving that third entity and not be aware of it. And once again, if you're not aware of the separate union here in the flesh, but not combining in the flesh, but actually being able to combine our flesh, then you're not understanding what a union between a man and a woman is. Excuse me. And the spirituality behind that, and how that drive for each other is a mechanism for procreation on this planet. And without that understanding within people, um, they could never be kings over their selves with their limited understanding. And a lot of these um, cultures, I'm going to share something with you that I've spoke before about. Say we'll just call them Khazarians. Um, rhymes with phew. Anyway, that went up the step into like Slovakia, and just say even like Poland, or the Germanic, the uh, Hungarians, the Romanians, these type of folklores that they have are super interesting, and there's truths in all the myths and folklores around the planet. They have been split up and jacked around on purpose, not as clues, just as people's cultures moved, but the deceiving ones would leave out or add to different things depending on what they were doing. But I'm gonna share a Kraken fort that he's talking about the um, Hungarian myth of the earth diver, and they still don't quite know what it is, but that's okay. There's some stories in there and some folklore from that area that came up from Turkey through that. It was the, well, you'll hear all of it if you listen to it. You'll get some spiritual clues within that. Um, like I say, none of them are complete, but there are secret societies that carry pieces. They only carry pieces. Not even the Vatican has the complete truth. There's two spirits that have the complete truth. One is male, the other is female. So someday people are going to get it, but this dual system is not about the flesh. It's spiritual, you know? The coming together is in the flesh, but not all at the same time. You're still one or the other. That's who you were made to be. one or the other, with the ability to imagine and understand who the other is, not within yourself. The other, you know? So, let's see. I was thinking on something else too with that. I think. Just a minute here. That's your free will, by the way. But, you know, whoever is your God, I guess. But, you know, it's still, um, if you don't recognize both of them as a team and you're trying to ball them all up together like that, describing them in the flesh, that's the mistake, you know? It's an image we're made out of, you know, an image, not the actual, but an image to describe what that is. So looking at a woman, there's the image of the sacred feminine. You can describe and define what a woman is. Like you can look at a man and describe what a man is by that image, you know? Oh, that's what I was going to say. I was listening to a herding humanity, herding like you herd sheep. And he was talking about some people talk about the tone of his voice and like he sounds mean or gruff sometimes or whatever. And he's like, hey, I'm sorry. Um, I have testosterone, you know. It's funny. Right on call, you know. If some of you have watched Call for an Uprising or Rebel Call or the other 50 channels that he has had blocked because he talks about the um, kids being having things done to them, trying to make people in the world aware of the tactics and how these things are done, and he's been doing that for a long time, you know. So, one of my favorite channels for what's going on in the world, like currently, but the whole thing, all the agendas put together, um, people have to understand that even this gender thing is a part of the agenda on how to destroy a society. Gee, what kind of entity would do that? Somebody that wanted some power? Hmm? Yeah? Over you or I? How would they go about that? Hmm. So, this is important. There's a lot of confused people in the world. I mean, you know, do what you're doing in life, but know what you're doing and who you're doing it for. You know, don't be deceived. Don't be deceived like that. You cannot describe man or woman together in the flesh. And you certainly can't describe God like that at all. So, and you need to understand dualism, you know, how the male and female energies work together for your behalf and half of that situation is being hijacked by old Yowl the Bath, or the Baphomet. That's a good depiction of what's going on, you know. It's not a reality, people. That is not how people began. God was not in the flesh as both sexes ever, ever. Neither was the woman. And these types of fables, they really need to end. We'll get to the bottom of it. I mean, we're going back with people's tales they've told through the time, when they told it, where they were, when they said it, all that. And it's going to get down to the bottom of it, because there are two entities that are being unjustly represented, and one that is being exalted to your demise. Excuse me. So, yeah. And the Masons used to use the cough to indicate that they were paying homage to the female. So, yeah, fuck yourself. Excuse me, people, but if there's any affiliated group people here, you deserve what I just said. And I'm sure Satan would tell you to go yourself too. So, and many of you do, because you're all one part of that mixed duality that is not dual nature, but a combination. Go figure. What I just say to you, something changed in the human population, and diseases came about. That's why they came about, by the way. Misplaced sexuality. Because evil men got their way with a child of God, and they're going to pay for it. You don't want to be a part of that penance, do you? Because that's what's going on here. That is going to be the wrath of God on people. Seriously so. So I just want to talk about that, and that's probably enough for today, but you got to understand what the dual nature on this planet is. It's still Mother Earth and Father Time, but it's a dual nature. It's not dual nature within us. It comes from the outside. You're either hearing God, his wife, or the degenerate that's combining that for his own benefits, controlling people. So, and the world is comprised of families, and that's the order of the land. No matter who says what, I don't care what you say, it doesn't make what is practical and logical a freak show for somebody else's benefit. No matter how you feel inside, you are being unjustly guided, misguided. Absolutely. So I love you, and I'm not saying any more about this. I mean, I say I'm not going to, and then I do because there's just too many young people. I mean, you old folks out there doing what you're doing, do it. Just stay away from the kids. But what I'm trying to say is I shouldn't even be having this conversation. You should realize that a man and a woman started this situation. It wasn't one entity, you know? It was powers that created flesh. Now it seems to me that the flesh sure wants to create some powers, but yeah. Well, they'll get with the program or they'll get with the program, one of the two, I guess. Nothing more I can really say. I'm just trying to warn you, you know. So anyway. Oh, and for the person that's worried about the sacred feminine spirit being passed on in this world. I have 4 granddaughters, and I know I've also instructed um, lots of young ladies along the way in the proper way to conduct herself with her sexuality and or misuse thereof, you know. So they know. In their spirits they know whether they're listening or not, but these little fuckers have been instructed. The same with the men that are playing their little chokey games and, you know, hey, yes and no. You know, yes and no. Depends on, it's a dual nature, not combined. Yeah, we're all a part of each other in a sense because we're family in the human family. We're all individual souls. And the first man and woman of God, the Godheads, are separate individuals that created things together and taught their little degenerate um, his free will, just like yours, to do what you want, whether you're listening or not. So, all right, everybody. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day, wherever you're at.